Driving through the glimmering sand of the North Horr region in Kenya's northern part, the sun feels unbearably hot and the air is thick with dust. The reek of decay grows stronger the closer we get to the Kambinyoka and Demo village.
Niko na mbuzi pia. Mbuzi yangu imeenda na mzee. Kuna ile ameacha hapa. Hizo zote zimekufa. Naomba usaidizi. Nipate hizi 7 isikufe.
Njaa zimejitokezea. Watoto yote ni malnourished. Wakina mama yote sasa wako na njaa zaidi, hata kuleta maji imekuwa ngumu.
A group of vultures are hovering and descending to the ground to pick at what is left of a trail of livestock carcasses in the wake of the ravaging drought. Half a dozen women are trying to lift up a cow whose limbs can no longer support its frail frame, weighed down by the famine, with uncertainty visible on their faces, on the survival of the animal that feels ever closer to them in the fight to maintain a bold stance despite the threat staring at them.
So we bear the brunt as African countries. Women bear the most brunt. Women bear the most brunt because first, they are the most vulnerable in the community. Second, the climate change effects affect them because they also depend on this ecosystem in terms of livelihood.
Due to the diminished status and power, women and girls are especially vulnerable in such times of stress.
During such disasters, one, there are likelihoods of gender-based violence. There are likelihoods of early marriages for girls because people want to trade this livestock and get income immediately because they know they won't survive for a very long time. There are also vulnerabilities in terms of abuse, either physical or even sexual abuse of women and children. And most of the women who are single, single women who are heads of families bear more brunt on this.
As Anne.Take, a climate change expert, explained, women may be pregnant or have childcare responsibilities and often lack control over household resources. Due to conservative traditions, the burden on them as primary family caregivers also increase.
Mimi naomba serikali na mafadhili yote. Sisi hatuna chakula ya mali, hatuna chakula yetu. Tunaomba, hatuna maziwa na sisi ni wamama, tunataka usaidizi.
Sasa hatuongei hata maneno ya mfugo, tunaongea juu ya binadamu. Ngombe imekusha, mbuzi iko kukusha, ngamia iko kwenda na hakuna malisho utaona hapa.
It's a dry morning in Bubisa, northern Kenya. Children and women collecting the dead sheep and cows.
Sasa mtu ya motorbike anawacharge not less than 1,000. Just imagine that situation now. Mitungi ya hapa ya maji ni kama shilingi 10 hivyo.
A rocky land, but women wake up with hope to sustain the livestock using their human food. What they hope to help survive can no longer eat due to lack of strength to even open its mouth to chew. Meet Talaso, a 20-year-old woman walking miles away from her village Demo to buy hay worth 1,000 shillings, hoping to salvage her only left livestock. But on reaching home after 100 kilometers, she finds her only cow dead of starvation.
Tunachimba hii miti, mbuzi yetu inakula. Tunatoka saa 1, tunarudi saa 2 ya jioni nyumbani. Siku nyingine pia tunaenda kutafuta, mbuzi yetu inakula. Kila siku tunaenda, mbuzi yetu inakula hii tu kitu.
Those 2 goats, even though Talaso has brought them a meal, they also have no strength to chew. Traditionally, fetching water is a female task, and the famine has made this an insurmountable task.
Amehama hapa kwa sababu tu ya kiu, hawana maji, wako mbali na maji, hawana uwezo ya kuleta maji kwa hiyo mali walikuwa. Zamani walikuwa wanachukua hiyo maji na ngamia yao ama punda na zote sasa zimekufa, ndio wamehama karibu na maji. Mimi naomba, nataka kusoma. Wazazi wangu wanataka kunitoa kwa shule. Mnisaidie nisome, nikuwe mwalimu.
Women are forced to pay 1,000 shillings for transport to fetch water worth 10 shillings per jerrycan. At the neighboring village, a woman left to take care of the remaining 2 goats.
From this minute, somebody can die.
Ikifika mwezi wa pili, kama hatujapata msaada, utaona binadamu area hii, utakuta wameisha yote.
Maji pia hatuna, tunataka usaidizi, tunaenda na mgongo.
Women's hands here are almost turning due to digging for wild roots to at least sustain the remaining weak livestock. North.Our is a remote region largely disconnected from essential services. The drought has left livestock wasting away, deeply impacting local community who rely on them for their livelihood.
But if you look at Africa, we are the least emitters of climate change. But in countries, developed countries like China, US, they are the most emitters, actually emitting up to 80%.
Do you think as a woman in parliament, a legislature in parliament, have you voiced the issues of women, especially when it comes to climate change, as it is supposed to be raised?
Yes, and I'm still in the process. I have questions, and I'm also drafting some debate and also working on that. And yes, I have voiced and still going to voice on that.
A resident of Bubisa village, North.Our says women are left behind to take care of children hopeless and without anything to survive on, are left to share whatever food they eat with the remaining weak goats and cows.
Asua sisi kama wamama tumekosa namna ya kufanya, tumefikiria sijui tutapeleka hii watoto wapi, tukawaacha tu ndani ya manyata, sinachukua njia nyingine.
Serikali imetuacha hapa siko county na hatujapata chakula ya county mpaka saizi, na hakuna mtu ya serikali amekuja kuona vile hii mali imeisha.
I sat down with climate change expert and legislators to find out how they could help women in northern Kenya.
They don't have information on, early warning on this climate change, especially on the rainfall patterns. They don't have this information so that they're able to adjust based on these changes. The other thing is they're not able to access resources, looking at technical or even financial resources.
Hata ukabila iko, because mimi nikiajiriwa kama county government ama minister fulani ama director fulani, I favor my people.
We call ourselves marginalized. The reason we say marginalized is we don't get those big projects.
But you're in the parliament, why don't you push?
We are pushing. Like just last week, we sat with the president. Women get affected because our girl child will definitely go get married. Why? Because of the drought, we've moved from one destination to another. When we move, as I said earlier, we move the whole family. Then a girl who is maybe in class 7 will not go back to school. Then that means there is a challenge for a girl child. We don't have a proper maternal facilities for pastoralists. That also affects us. What we want now in future is to look at a different way of life. You know, going from being the normal, ordinary pastoralist to maybe even looking at farming.
According to Warioguyo, the members of parliament for North.Our, they now say urgent action from the government is needed to deal with the crisis.
You know, looking at the effect of the climate change, the impacts will continue to be worsened. More and more people, not only northern Kenya but other parts of the country and the world, will continue fall into that bracket of facing the severe impacts of the disaster. So basically, we need to think what's an alternative. There's plenty of underground water. This water can be harnessed, it can be drilled, and then it can be used for irrigation. We've tried it while I was in the humanitarian sector. We've tried, and there's a lot of potential in that sector. But looking at northern Kenya, especially North.Our, let's say it covers 39,000 square kilometers with a population of 200,000. So if you can do, let's say, big irrigation schemes like Galana Kulalu, it can even accommodate 10, 20 of them, and it can really feed this country.
Family planning information and other medical services are also limited or unavailable in North.Our. This puts women at heightened risk of pregnancy-associated complications and even death. Malnutrition and poor sanitation also put new mothers and children at risk of contracting other diseases such as cholera, resulting to an escalating mortality rate.
We are facing the most difficult moment for the next 4 months, and if the April rains fail again, so what are we expecting? We are expecting, the entire population of northern Kenya to be wiped out of the face of the world, of the earth. So basically, we are really worried. There are cases of reported human lives have been lost, especially in North.Our, and also in Ileret, due to hunger and starvation, nothing more. So basically, the situation is really dire. Livestock are gone. NGOs have really done their best.
What we need is the money to go immediately in terms of water tankering, in terms of livestock feed, animal feed, cash transfer. We, as representatives of the people, we shall not do any more other work until we make sure that these monies has reached, these responses has reached our people. We may not even go to parliament. We shall go to the ground. We shall follow up this money. We will, from tomorrow morning, that will be our task.
I really want to urge the government, like we've said in the press conference, this should be a national disaster.
Guyo is saddened by the fact that the same region facing such acute water unavailability and drought often suffer destructive floods from the Ethiopian side of other border, water which could be harnessed for agriculture but is not. Climate change is a harsh and redefining reality that is changing our lives as we knew them, and its adverse effects at least to the result of the strained human-nature relationships. And as the sun in the northern Kenya sets, lives of women, the old, and children may set due to the biting status of drought occasioned by climate change. March is the month of celebrating women. Perhaps it's time to focus on climate change and women. For Ebro TV, I'm Odee Francis.